Oh, welcome everyone. Oh no, stuff happened.
Which
Jackie has moved out of frame. Give me 1 second.
I didn't. Okay, I am here. You can see my ring light.
Yes, she is here. Do, 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 do.
Well, it wouldn't be a live show if there weren't some technical issues.
Okay.
Hopefully, you're hearing my voice and you know that you're in the right place.
Yep.
There we go. Hello.
Oh, still. She keeps on moving, y'all. She keeps on moving.
I'm sitting still. I'm sitting right here.
Okay, okay. There. There we go. There we go. Now it looks fine. It's fine. It's
There
fine,
we
y'all.
go.
Oh my goodness. Welcome everybody to another Ask Me Anything with Jackie Fox.
Hello, everybody. It's a little early for us, so bear with us. Amanda and I are not really morning people,
Nope, not at all.
but wanted to be here in the morning because then that way, if you're from Europe and you're here, you still get to participate. So
Yeah.
I think while we wait for people to find us, we're just going to have a little light chatting. And in a little bit, we will be playing some games with all of you in the chat.
What? That's
We're going to
crazy.
play a wonderful game called Wavelength. That is a really fun party game, and that maybe some of you have not played. And we're going to get to experience. Whoops, that was me dropping the box on the floor. We'll play it so that you can all play and compete against Amanda to see who knows me the best.
Oh. Oh, wow. This is going to be a Jackie version of Wavelength, huh?
Oh yeah, this is going to be. Do you collectively, people who are in the chat, know me better than Amanda does? So be
Dang.
interested because people in the chat have known me for a longer period of time,
True that.
but
True
not
that.
as well
True
as
that.
Amanda. So
That's
we'll
true.
see. Is length of time, does that trump um, the personal factor?
Welcome in everyone who's in the chat. Hello, Mark. Hello, William Dobbs. Hello, Robin. Hi, Michael. Hi, Foglight. Good to see you. Foglight's like, good day. It's afternoon. I'm already having wine. Well, it's a weekend. You're welcome to your lunch wine. So, oh,
That sounds nice. There,
yes.
there, there won't be prizes. Actually, the prize was going to be that you were going to get to see my new kittens, except I don't have them. They're mine. They're in a cat cafe somewhere. And if they don't arrange for pickup by the end of the day today, my nephew and I are just going to go and do a jailbreak tomorrow. I'm gonna channel my full-on Daenerys Targaryen and
Mm.
be, give me back my kittens. Calm now. Nope.
So, Jackie, what have you been doing lately before we get into all the question portion?
I've been okay. Well, I have been obviously adopting kittens,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
is that takes a long time these days. You
Yes,
have to
yes.
you have to go down and meet them and fill out an application, and then you have to do a home tour so that they're sure that the home is going to be good. Then you have to sign a contract. It's quite a big process. Seriously, it's easier to get a gun in California than it is to get pets. There's something wrong about that.
Mm.
But they're very sweet little silver tabbies, so I'm looking forward to
Oh.
getting them. And one of the things we're going to be doing a little later in the chat is seeing if we can come up with some great names for them,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because they just have, I had some tentative names for them, but nothing that's fixed yet. So maybe you all can come up with better names for the cats.
Hopefully. Are they
All right,
brother and sister, or what? Two brothers, two sisters?
sisters.
Two sisters.
Sisters.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're very sweet. Same litter.
Oh, that's cute.
They look a lot alike, but one has a darker nose. So they'll be easy to tell apart. But
Yes.
before we get to all the fun stuff, I want to talk about something
Mm-hmm,
serious
mm-hmm.
because today is the Purple Stride Day, which is raising money for pancreatic cancer research. And this is something that a lot of my social media friends contributed to my team, which was, if you're one of them, just thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It is not too late, by the way, to donate to our team. And my team is really special because it is Team Nikki Trebek. Nikki is the daughter of Alex Trebek, who was the late great host of Jeopardy, who died of pancreatic cancer, a little over a year ago. And it's a personal cause for me. I lost my one of my favorite cousins. Now I have other cousins that might be watching, so I'll just say he was one of my favorite cousins. He died of pancreatic cancer, and in fact, the last communication I had with him was after he saw me on Jeopardy, and he just sent me an email that said, "We're proud of you."
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was really nice, and he got to see me do win 4 games, so that was really exciting. But then we lost him to pancreatic cancer, which was definitely not exciting. So a lot of people have contributed to Team Nikki Trebek, and if you have any, if you're in the position where you can contribute as well, the link is on there. I'm just stunned at how many people that uh, that donated and that responded to my fundraising attempts were personally affected. One of my friends from the trivia world, I'll just give you his first name. He was public about this, but his name's Bob. His daughter just moved back home with him because she is dying of pancreatic cancer, and it is at a
Oh.
stage where they cannot save her. So she's gone home to pass away with him. This is a horrible disease that is very tough to fight. It's getting better, but it still takes most of the people who get it. And so anything you can do to help, that would be great. And I will just leave it at that because it's not a cheery subject and we are here to have fun today.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
Amanda, what have you been up to? I know you've been streaming like crazy.
I have been. I've been streaming and working hard and playing a lot of games. But that is life. That is life, and I'm enjoying it. But I am very tired, especially this early in the morning. Usually, I'm waking up right about now or eating breakfast. So
Yeah,
it's about right now.
we're definitely not morning people. Amanda, will you put up your I know your Twitter link is I think on here somewhere,
Mm.
but please pop that up and your Twitch channel as well. If so, I know a lot of you people are here watching because you know me from the Runaways, and you're not board game people, but if you want to learn about modern board games and just how wide ranging they span, everything from like the game we're going to play today, which is just a very simple party game, to super complex, thinky puzzles. And Amanda streams live plays of all different kinds of games with different kinds of people. So you can see what modern board gaming is. And sometimes she just does crafting, which is really fascinating because she makes things out of things. That's my definition of crafting. You make things out of other things.
Well, Jackie, but you're an artist too because you take a blank white piece of paper and turn it into art. So you're crafty yourself, lady.
Yeah, but Amanda can actually make things out of things. I just slop things onto things and then go, what does this look like? Ooh, okay, this would look cool, but it doesn't have any function. Amanda literally made me a birthday card with a little moving crab on it, which
I
was
like
really
it.
cute.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you're going to have a tough time topping yourself this year. I'm just telling you. I expect more now. I totally expect more. All right,
Oh
so
dear.
so before we get to playing games, let's dive into some of your questions. And
Yes.
I know somebody who is not able to join today asked me on my Instagram page what gear I used in the Runaways.
Mm.
And I have to say, I have a really hard time remembering this. If you've seen photos of me playing, you know that my favorite bass was my 1966 Gibson Thunderbird, white finish, 2 pickups, awesome, awesome instrument. Completely loved that thing. Wish I still had it because it's not just because it's worth about $30,000 now if I had it, but just because it's such an amazing instrument and they only made that model for a few years. I also played with some Fender basses. I had a jazz bass and a precision bass. And there's a picture of me somewhere playing a Rickenbacker, which I don't really remember. I think somebody loaned it to me for a gig. I played my favorite amplifier, for those of you who are musicians, was an Ampeg SVG guitar amp, not the bass amp. We had, as you know, I was in a band with Lita Ford, our lead guitarist, and Lita went to 11. Sometimes she went to 12 or even 13. So if I wanted to get heard while she was cranking it, I had to have a very punchy sound. So I played with half round, well, you can't even say that. I can't say this. Half round, which is half round wound strings, normally bass strings, for those of you who don't know, they come in either flat varieties or round. Round are very difficult to play. They're kind of painful because they're, to be bass strings, they're really thick and tough. And the flat strings have a much softer sound. There is, and they were hard to find sometimes, half round. Don't ask me what they actually look like or are made like, but they had a punchier sound than the flat, and they didn't hurt as much as the round, so I used those. I did play with a pick. And beyond that, oh, and the other part of the question was, did I play through the mixing board or through an amplifier in the studio? And the answer is I did a little bit of both, depending on the song. So there you go. That's my tech stuff. While we're on the music questions, I see that Lisa is asking me about what's my favorite song of those I've written, and have I ever sung solo? Short answer is yes. I did a solo demo that nobody wanted. Want want. So I used to
Ooh.
sing. You can kind of hear my voice is a little bit ragged. I have very bad acid reflux, and it has affected my voice. I did, though. I'm very excited about this project. I did. There is a YouTube channel called Mikey and his Uke. That's UKE, short for ukulele. He gets kind of well-known musicians together to do covers of well-known songs that weren't initially by that artist. And I learned of him when I discovered that Kathy Valentine, the bass player for the Go-Go's, was playing bass on a version of Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. And it's an incredible version. You should go check that out on his channel. And I just posted something that said, hey, this might be the best version of this song ever. And Mikey contacted me and said, hey, would you ever want to play on one of our songs? And I said, well, I don't really play anymore, but I can kind of sing backup if it's low. And then a couple months went by, and all of a sudden he sent me this track and said, hey, do you want to sing some backing vocals on the Go-Go's Head Over Heels with Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's doing backing vocals on it as well? And I went, oh, really? And Alice Bagg, who was a famous punk rock musician, is singing the lead vocals, and she knocked them out of the park. I mean, she just does a phenomenal job. So they sent me this track. I recorded some backing vocals, and then for my video portion, I went down to Sunset Boulevard and just had a little fun in front of the Whiskey and the Roxy and the Rainbow and the soon-to-be no more Viper Room.
Oh.
May it rest in peace. And so I'm excited about that. That should be coming out sometime in the next couple of months, and it will be posted on my social media pages. And there's that. Okay, now I do want to address this rumor. Clyde Clark wants to know if there's any claim, if there's any truth to the claim that I used to date Ace Frehley of Kiss. Short answer is no, I never dated Ace. Never went on a single date with him, never so much as kissed him. I don't know why Ace is saying that I used to be his girlfriend.
Oh, he's saying that, or
He's
is that?
saying that. He said
Oh.
in a couple of interviews that I used to be his girlfriend, that we used to date, and I'm thinking, okay, Ace drank a lot. I mean, he had some real problems with alcohol, and I'm wondering if he dated someone else in my band and got us confused, or if this is just a very sweet fantasy, because I know Ace. I mean, I like Ace. He's a great guy, but The only place I maybe ever dated him was in his dreams.
Mm,
Sorry, Ace.
interesting. Um,
I, yeah, it's a weird one.
William asked, "Do you have pictures of your kittens?"
I posted on my social media a picture that I'm not supposed to have of my kittens. And I don't really, unless Amanda's got it and can pop it up somewhere,
Which social media, or is it all your social media?
all of them.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. Anyone have any other questions for Jackie before we start playing Wavelength, which is what we're gonna do while I find these kitten photos, because we all need kitten photos.
We do. I will tell you a little about the kittens. They
Mm-hmm.
are sisters. They were found and rescued. I don't know what part of town they were found in. I think not a great part of town, as I kind of vaguely remember. And they were bottle raised. So they were found when they were very little, and they're about 6 months old now. And I will be getting them tomorrow, one way or another. This is my nephew is a complete enabler. He has a part-time cat. Basically, he bought a house, and his neighbor from across the street has a cat who he is just in love with. And she sees that his car pulled back into the house, and she runs over and walks through the door. And as soon as he sits down, she jumps in his lap and demands to be petted.
That's so
And
cute.
they have this great love affair. It's really sweet. So he's been kind of dying for me to get new cats, and I haven't felt ready.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we just went to a cat cafe last week, just to have something to do together, that we both felt safe going to. And right when we were leaving, they kind of said to us, "Oh, we just got in these two new kittens. They're a little bit shy." And we said, "Oh, let's go look." And I instantly fell in love with them. They don't look anything like Xena and Cleo did. Xena and Cleo were black, but something in their manner reminded me of them. So I now have cats that I don't
Ooh.
that I don't actually have. I'm looking at it this way. They're being socialized further,
Yeah.
and because they're charging admission to the cat cafe, so they need to have cats there. They're raising more money to save more cats,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. But I would like to have the babies, know when I'm going to have them, so I can plan my life a little. Like normally, as Amanda knows, we would be playing games tomorrow, but I can't really schedule game day without knowing when I have to get kitties. What
Yes.
can I tell you? Um, so Amanda, what is on actually? What is up for us to play next?
I don't know. I also cannot find these cat photos, these kitten photos at all. I'm like on your Facebook, I'm on your Twitter. They're not to be found, y'all. I do apologize. I can show you this picture of here, I'll
Well,
change my
we'll
face.
do it. We'll do it. We'll pretend I am my mother, just for hi mom if you're watching. My mom is great. My mom is not the most tech savvy person, as probably none of our mothers are.
Mm,
So I'm going to just hold up
yeah.
a photo of the kittens on my phone, and hopefully you'll be able to see it a little bit. Um,
Oh, there they
there we go,
are.
kitties. Little
Oh, they're
silver.
long. They look big for kittens.
Well, because they're 6 months old. I mean,
Oh,
they're going
okay.
to be cats by the time I get them if I don't spring them soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, they will be here tomorrow at some point. They
And,
just will.
and then this is the reason, like, you went to the Viper room for that, and this is the picture. Well, you can't see it very well, but that's
Yeah,
the picture.
that is. We
Okay,
we did
so
that's Darren Pfeiffer, who is a punk rock musician of some renown, who who Mikey put me together with him so that he could record my backing vocals. And then I asked him if he wanted to come shoot the video. And unfortunately, originally, Pat Smear of the Foo Fighters was going to come and just have some antics on Sunset Boulevard with me. And he texted me right before that to say, "Well, I'm going I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks to South
Ah,
America. We'll do this when I get back. And as a lot of you know, while he was in South America, their drummer Taylor Hawkins died of an apparent drug overdose.
oh
And so
dang.
that's the third band that Pat's been in that someone has died while he was in the band. So I can't even imagine what he's going through. But needless to say, he was not feeling up to antics when he got back. So I just went ahead and did this without him. Would have been a lot more fun with him, but it's going to be fun anyway.
Yes.
Um,
Um, Gil says, do you use any pedals during your time in the Runaways?
nope. I mean, bass pedals, kind of a weird concept, you know. It's I kept it pretty simple. The only thing I did that was weird really was to play through a guitar amp. And it's not even that weird. A lot of bass players played through that same amp.
So I have a question. What's the
Yeah.
difference? You said you were playing an amp, but an amplifier. But I thought an amplifier was a box like speakers that you plugged your instruments in to amplify the noise. But you said you were playing an amplifier. So what's the difference?
No, I was playing through an amplifier. But
Okay.
okay, so when you're live on stage, you have your amplifier, which yes is a box with speakers and with dials that, in addition to controlling volume, they'll control something called gain. They might have dials on them for treble, bass, mid range. Some of them might have effects on them now. And then if you're playing more than or any place larger than a small club, you also put a microphone in front of the amplifier, and then that sound gets amplified through the soundboard. And usually there's a sound person mixing the sound. And it's the ideal thing to do if you're not playing a very, very, very large space is to have your stage volume be lower so that your mixing person can control the level of amplification and the mix of the sounds. So the problem was because Lita always liked to be so loud, and then we all had to turn our amps up in order to hear each other over Lita, which left our sound person not a lot of room to further amplify and therefore mix the sound. And so a lot of times our sound was dreadful. But then there's also a thing, Amanda, with that is it's not specific to bass, but it's most common with bass, is that because you don't really need this crunchy kind of amplified sound, you can plug your bass guitar straight into the mixing board
Okay.
and just play directly into the mixing board and right on to, well, it used to be tape, it's digital now. So if you wanted that kind of punchier sound, you would just go play through an amplifier and there would be a microphone that was taking the sound to the tape, through the mixing board into the tape, or you could go directly. And I did a mixture of both depending on the song. So on our softer songs, I played straight into the mixing board, and on our louder songs, I played through an amplifier that was then mic'd. And it's one of the funny things that anybody in a band who's recorded in a studio knows. You go in when they're setting up the sound, and the engineer is checking it and be like, okay, play a few notes. Okay, that's good. And then with the drums, they mic every single drum separately. And take it takes so much time for each drum to get the sound right. It's like again, it's like an hour to mic the drums. And the rest of you are, you're just sitting there with your arms crossed. You get one note, the drummer gets an hour. And the drummer gets half the tracks. It's crazy. The drums are crazy. So if you in the old days, like when we were recording, the most tracks you could ever get in a studio were really 24 track. There were some, I think 32 track studios. I may be remembering the number wrong that were starting to come in, but in general, 24 tracks was kind of the art form. And there were 8-track studios and 16-track studios. So the problem is if you had a 24-track studio and the drums took up, let's say they took 8 tracks and the bass took 1 and you had 2 tracks for rhythm guitar. Okay, Amanda knows I can't count. What did I just leave you with? That was 10.
Yeah, I
And
think.
then you had lead guitar that was maybe taking up a couple. Then you would have vocals, you'd have your backing vocals. For most bands, 24 tracks would be enough. But if you were doing something where you were using a lot of different instruments, where maybe you had keyboards as well, and if you had a lot of backing vocals, you would run out of tracks, and you'd have to decide, what do you mix down to a single track that you won't be able to ever separate out later? And
Oh,
that was
dang.
always tough. So you might get maybe you would get the tom toms, and you would decide, well, those can be the same volume, and we'll mix those down to a single track. Except that's a bad example because you would want those split between left and right to get your stereo effect. So you'd be having this tough decision. What is going to be through the same track? Usually it would be backing vocals that would get combined, but then you were stuck with them the way that
Mm.
they were. So that was interesting. And yes, as Mark just pointed out, the Doors famously didn't have a bass player. But to be clear, every band has a bass player. They just didn't have a bass guitarist. They had a bass keyboardist because Ray Manzarek, who was the keyboard player, played the bass parts on keyboard. And that's the same. The Dandy Warhols did that as well. Not uncommon. So,
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah.
Um,
So
so what inspired you to play bass instead or guitar? Like you know how to play both though, right?
yes. Well, a bass is it's the same as the first 4 strings on a guitar. It's the exact same notes, E A D B. It's just they're obviously lower down because it's a longer and thicker string. Um, but and it's a different function because guitar is filling in space, whereas bass is it's the beating heart of a band. It's part of the rhythm section. It's what's giving you that especially with rock and roll, but with any form of music, it's what's giving it the groove. So I had to make that mental shift when I switched over to bass. But I started playing guitar when I was maybe 8 years old. My parents bought a guitar and then they kind of said, here, go to the park and learn folk tunes because that's what they taught you. I mean, really weird stuff that goes back hundreds of years in Americana was what they were teaching us. And finally, when my parents saw I was kind of staying with it and serious about it, they got me a real teacher. The first song I ever learned from this teacher, Tim, was The Needle and the Damage Done by Neil Young. And the second song I ever learned was Stairway to Heaven. So there you go. But then he taught me really cool stuff because he taught me to play all kinds of, he taught me Phrygian and Lydian and Mixolydian scales and how to play lead in one of those scales. And he taught me a jazz version of Penny Lane. It was really cool stuff that I was learning to play. And he was just an amazing musician. And then I joined the Runaways, and um, the rest is history. So
Lisa asked you wear a favorite strap for your bass.
I did have a favorite show. Somewhere I found this great woven kind of braided leather strap that was really thick and really soft leather, which is extremely comfortable. And I have no idea where that ended up. That maybe it went. I ended up selling my bass after it broke when we were in Japan, and somebody told me, I think bad advice, that it would never hold its tuning ever again with a split head. And so I sold it to Mark Mendoza from the Dictators, figuring he was playing punk rock, precise tuning, maybe not quite as important in punk. And he still has that bass to this day.
Oh.
Well done, Mark.
He
I
might
don't
have your strap.
I don't know if he has the strap. I should ask him.
Yeah.
I can find out. So I think before we answer more questions, maybe let's take a break and play a little game for a bit. What do you say?
Yeah.
So I think I held up, I know I held up the box, but for those who weren't here, One of my favorite party games, and one that's well suited to playing online, is a game called Wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
And in Wavelength, you're going to we have this contraption I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But what will happen is somebody will randomly draw a card, and it's got two sides. One of them, and they're kind of opposites usually. Like this one side of this card shows unsexy emoji, sexy emoji, which I would never try to answer because I don't really do emojis very well. But I would probably pick the other side of this card, which has rare and common.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I were the one giving the clues to my team, I would take this wonderful mystery device and I'd spin this little wheel until I was pretty sure it was landing randomly. And then privately, I would turn it toward me, but I would do this, and it's going to reveal this little target range. And I think this one we had just, okay, so this is asking me to come up with a clue that will get my team to try, ideally to get in this zone here that's kind of a blue, gray blue, or at least within range of it. And if they get it in that zone, they're going to get 4 points. Just outside to either side, 3 points. And if they're a little further off, 2. What they're going to do is, okay, so I would be, this whole thing would be private. I put the screen back, and I'm going to give a clue. And as I recall, I'm trying to get them to say something that is fairly common, but maybe not super, super common. So I wouldn't want to say water necessarily, but I might say cats. Let's say that's the clue. And my team is going to discuss, and then they're going to turn this dial.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I know I'm looking at it opposite, so
Yeah.
it took a moment. And they're going to go, how common does Jackie think, or how rare does she think cats are? Well, she has cats. Cats are pretty common, but are they super common? Maybe it's here. And they'll discuss, and when they agree, and then I will turn this toward them and reveal, and look at that. My team got it dead on, they get 4 points. So we're going to do a little version of this, but because there are no numbers on here, we're going to pretend that these are numbered. Well, they would be numbered 0 through 20 with 9 in the middle, but we're going to do 1 through 20. So the middle will be 10 and a half, and there's no way to exactly get the middle. Well, I guess you could do half numbers. We'll allow half numbers. And instead of using that, I've got a 20-sided die here and a little, my homemade dice tray, which appropriately it says Queen of Damn Near Everything on the back. So I'm going to roll the 20-sided die, and I will see what number comes up. I'm going to give you one clue, and you in the chat discuss amongst yourselves. You're going to guess a number, but you can talk. So I see what this number is. Okay, so
we're trying to guess the number closest to what she rolled on her die.
I'm trying to give you a clue that will get you to the number that I just rolled on the die. So, for instance, here's a kind of easy one to do. This says cheap versus expensive. And
so cheap would be 0 and expensive would be 20.
Yeah, so the most expensive thing in the world would be a 20, and the cheapest thing in the world, well, it would be a 1 because I can't roll a 0 on it.
That's true. It'd be a 1.
So I am going to say on this one, I'm going to say, I'm going to say an Audi A3.
I am not a car person. Did you used to own one? Is that why you're saying? I thought this was like a Jackie version.
I'm just using one of the actual cards from the game that said cheap, expensive, and my clue is Audi A3. So you're going to decide on a scale of 1 to 20 where I think an Audi A3 would
1
be.
being cheap, 20 being expensive.
Right.
Hi, Kirk. So have you owned one before? Have you owned an Audi before since this is your AMA?
I have owned an Audi A4,
Okay.
which actually is my favorite car that I've ever owned.
Okay. So I have a number in mind. So and y'all put your guesses in the chat. Oh, Kirk doesn't think the Audis are very expensive. Mark's saying it's gonna be a bit expensive.
Now I'm going to tell you how you're going to score points on this. We're going to, instead of saying how close you are to the number, well, actually you could score for you could do 4 points if you're exact, 3 points if you're 1 away, and 2 points if you're 2 away. But also you get an extra point if you are closer to the right answer than Amanda is.
You'll have to keep track of your own points because
Yes,
I'm probably not gonna be keep tracking of everything.
honor system here
Honor
for
system.
scoring.
Okay, so give you guys one more minute, or you all one more minute to put in. We have a 7, a 15, and a 15. Oh, Foglight has 12 now.
You can also, if you want to say why you're thinking what you're thinking, you can put that in. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to. Give
Okay.
people another 20 seconds if anybody else wants to, because I know there's more of you in this chat.
Yes. Oh, okay. Lisa says 16. Audis, I feel like are European cars. They're kind of expensive. So my first okay, but they're not as expensive as say like a handmade European car. So I think I'm gonna go with more expensive than you all though. I don't know. Now you're changing my mind, but I'm gonna say a 17. So we have 7, 15, 15, 12, 16, and 16.
What year is that? Sneaky. You only get, hey, if there's a fault in the clue, it's my fault.
Yes.
So
they're like mid-range. Really? They're mid-range. Okay, we will see. We will see because like I'm not really a car person, so that's gonna be interesting. And
well,
yeah,
I will tell you, nobody's gotten it dead on. A
okay.
couple of you are close.
What
so
is it?
The answer, lifting this up without changing it, is 14.
Oh,
So
so
you guys are
Mark and William both get 3 points.
They get 3 points.
Lisa and Karen gets 2 points, and all 4 of you guys get 1 point because you're closer than me. 1 extra point. So
Let's
there you
see
go.
if we can come up with. I'm not. These are just random. Oh, here we go. I like this one as a clue.
That's true. They are kind of mid-range. So what is the range of an Audi then?
And well, an A3. Okay, so an A4 was well, and now I don't know what cars are.
Now, no, it's different.
Chain issues.
Yeah.
When I got my car, it was in like the low 30s. I mean, it is like kind of entry level luxury car. And the A3 is the same, so it's just a little step down. But they're expensive cars, but they're not totally out of reach expensive. Although who knows these days?
These days, yeah, it's very expensive.
All right, let's see how you do with this one. We're gonna go weird.
Wait, move it. Okay, we can't see the other word. There it is. Normal and weird. Okay, normal being 1, weird being 20. Got it.
Yep. So I got to roll and see what I'm trying to get you to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a cooperative game or team versus team game in real life, and it's really hard on the clue giver for sure.
I mean, you get some. It's really interesting too when there are different generations playing, because I played with a group where I think I was the oldest person, but there were people that ranged, down to half my age, and we had a clue that was good president, bad president.
Oh.
And I was trying to get them to say one that was more good than bad, but not the best. And I said Jimmy Carter. which is, I think it was just slightly more good than bad, or maybe more bad. I don't know. No, it was the other way around. Somebody else was giving the clue and said Jimmy Carter. And everybody was saying, oh, he's so good. He built houses for the homeless. And I was like, well, hold up a minute. I lived through the Jimmy Carter years and he was a terrible president. Really good ex-president, but not a great president. And so I got them down a little and we ended up being closer to the actual answer. So it was, that conversation went on quite a while. So, okay, weird versus normal.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say, um, I'm going to say sniffing the armpits of your shirt so that you can see if you can rewear them. That's kind of a very specific clue.
That is very. uh, okay, that's definitely not 100% normal because normally you would just, put them in the laundry and wash them. That is kind of weird, but not 100% weird because you're not doing this in public. You're doing this in your own home. And it's not weird to rewear clothes, especially jackets and outerwear and stuff. So, fall like likes this category. So that's interesting. What? What do you mean, Foglight? I really want this clue to be Amanda.
Oh,
what?
This is where I put you on the scale of weird versus normal.
Okay, but Foglight, she has rolled a die. She has to put. She
Hey,
has to get us to that
D20.
scale.
I do have a D100.
So then, let me see. D20, 20 being weird. I feel like it's like almost in the middle for me. That's, I mean, people have it saying that it's more normalized, but I don't really know how normal people would do that. Okay, Alpha, we'll get back to your question after this one. Okay, so Lisa says it's 5, which is pretty normal. Wait, that's pretty in the that's
quite normal.
That's quite normal.
That's like halfway between the halfway point. And normal.
And then
so pretty normal.
Foglight is more towards the halfway point. Mark's even more. William and Karen. Okay, Kirk is at 8 too. Let's see.
Yeah, one of the reasons I love this game, it's kind of you're getting the mindset. It's like, what do I think you think I will think? Right?
Yeah. And it's kind of hard because we're with the internet too. But yeah, I think let's see. I feel like it's like a 10, like dead center. But maybe not because you guys are like, I'm gonna say 10. My first instinct is to say 10 is dead center. Okay, so what is the answer?
Want to take a guess before I do the big reveal?
Folly says, I mean, do it, but I'm also not normal.
Which I could say the same. I decided to put that I was going for a 9.
Mark got it. Good job, Mark. And then Foglight, Karen, and Kirk gets 3, and William gets 7, and y'all get 1 extra point because, I'm 1 within 1.
You're 1 off.
Yeah.
So the only people that so Mark's the only person that gets the extra point.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to keep doing this, but we'll take some questions and then we'll do some more and we'll just kind of go back and forth here, I think, which will be fun.
Alpha says, how can I find new people to play board games with? I mean, it's hard nowadays for me to set up a party with some peers from one day to the next. Any good tips?
It has definitely gotten harder since the pandemic, for sure. There are still some meetups happening. Meetup.com is not as good a place because a lot of people who had meetups let them go and just didn't renew them. So that's frustrating. But if you have any actual physical game stores near you, a lot of them do game days and game nights, which is a really good resource. And sometimes even if they don't have their own game days or game nights, they know people who are looking for gamers, or you can, leave your contact information with them. Another thing that you can do, I mean, Amanda and I met in the stream of someone else's live streams. We
Yes.
met in the chat of Watch It Played. So, and ended up just kind of contacting each other, and then discovering that we lived not too far away to occasionally meet in real life for games. And we've also set up play on Board Game Arena
Mm-hmm.
with our game group. So you can go play games. BoardGameArena.com, it's just spelled all one word, is a great place to play a wide variety of games, from very lightweight party games to easy to learn games that involve a little more strategy, to some pretty complex games. And it's just great because everything on there is fully ported over to being a game where it will automatically show you, or like prevent you from doing an illegal move, and
Mm-hmm.
it will do the cleanup after the round. And it's a good place to go and sometimes potentially meet people, or at least to find people that like the same games you do and friend them on the site. And maybe they live near you, maybe they don't. I will say it's a little bit more difficult. But the other thing you can do is just talk to your friends and say, hey, do you like playing board games? And, ease into it with a lighter game and see how people feel about it. There are so many good resources for learning games now. And you don't have to feel, I don't know how many of you saw that great little video on Twitter of Mandy Patinkin trying to learn Wingspan
Yes, yes.
and cracking himself and basically all of us up, because we forget, those of us who have been playing for a while, that we use some technical terms and some jargon, and it sometimes makes its way into the rules of games because there's an assumption at a certain type of game that you've played games before, and it may not be the case. But that's what all these great streamers like Amanda are for, so that you can watch a game be played, you can see it taught, and you can get an idea of how to play it without necessarily having to read the rules or having things not be clear. So there you go. So right, 11
Who is
play.
also a Twitch streamer, and also streams board games as well. You can add him to BGA. There's another app called Sovereignty who does Tuesday night board game like meetups on their Discord. I think if you have a favorite game, check their website or check their social media. They might have a Discord, and then you can find other people to play it with, either via video or through like Board Game Arena or another like digital platform. Let's see if I put that up there. Why is this not letting me? Oh, because I'm over the limit. So let me just take this off. Yeah, so that's also still over the limit. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Sorry everyone. But yeah, so if you go to like the actual, you can go to their Discord, or you can go to their BGG Board Game Geek page. You might be able to find people to play games with you there if you have a favorite game. If you don't know, like if you're not a big board gamer, unlike me or Jackie, Board Game Arena is a great one. They have a lot of lighter games, and they do enforce the rules, so you can learn the game pretty easily.
And it will recommend, you can put in, I want to find a game that plays with 4 people,
Mm-hmm.
or that is a casual game. It'll say games for casual gamers.
Yeah.
There are some, I'm going to give you some recommendations if you want lighter games. Can't Stop is a very fun game, easily available on Board Game Arena. I still play this like when I'm watching a trivia stream that I'm not playing in, because it's very easy to do 2 things at once with. It's just a game that has a mechanism that's called Push Your Luck, which is just what it sounds like. You are rolling dice, you're moving up tracks, you're trying to get to the top before anybody else, and you can keep rolling the dice or stop whenever you want. And it, just like the name says, can't stop. only I call it can't win. I don't bad at something that is like purely luck, but I'm bad at it. And it's a very fun game. There are some games on there. Similo and Stella are kind of giving hints, trying to get your team to pick the same things you do. But that's fun. There's a wonderful name called Code Names, game called Code Names. That's good if you have a group to play with. It's and God, there's so you know what we could sit here and talk about great games for another 2 hours. So we won't. We'll just say Board Game Arena is very good, and if you want to get an idea of what different games are, Board Game Geek is it's kind of the IMDb of for board games, and it's got all kinds of resources.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. So since we are playing a game, let's keep going.
Okay.
Oh, I like this one for us. Let's try. We're going to have the category. Let me get it centered. Fashionable.
Unfashionable versus fashionable. So a 1 is unfashionable, a 20 is fashionable. Very interesting.
And I'm going to see where I'm trying to get you to.
There's also Can't Stop Express, which is like just the dice, full dice, and you're just marking off check boxes, like of the different numbers. Is pretty similar to Can't Stop, only much quicker. That one I've played like with my friends like multiple times in a row. You can play games not in real time on Board Game Arena. So it's called asynchronous, which means that you take a turn and then maybe in a couple hours they take a turn and then maybe the next day you do another turn, that type of thing. And that helps when you're not in the same area. But if you do want to meet up with people like physically, I would definitely try your local game store, or you could just set up in a cafe that allows you to play games. Just set up a game and put out a sign, does anyone want to play, and you will teach it. And I mean that's what happens at conventions, and I've done this in the mall. Like me and my friends playing a game in the food court, and people will stop by and be like, what is this game, what is this about? And it's a lot of fun. So do you got your clue?
Okay. Fashionable, unfashionable. Unfashionable is toward the 1 and fashionable toward the 20. I'm just going to say long shorts.
That's different if it's like on a guy versus on a girl. It's different if it's like basketball shorts versus like cargo shorts or jeans. It's just that's very interesting. Yeah, so put in your guesses. Do you think long shorts is fashionable or unfashionable? Huh. I'm trying to think what Jackie. You have to think what Jackie would think. Is it
Scale of 1 to 20.
1 to 20?
Everybody's either thinking or gone.
Put something in the chat so that Jackie doesn't think she's just talking to me, which is fine too. But
Actually, yeah, that would be fine. I love it.
Oh, Foglight says those are very fashionable. Yeah, like are they cargo? Are they basketball? Wow, everyone says they're very fashionable. Wow. Karen's like 16 too, Mark 16, Lisa 15, Kurt 12. I have to say see that's different. Oh, it is very different if it's a male or female. Like men, I like them in longer shorts, but like for girls it's totally unfashionable to me. It's like I don't William says 11, Kirk says 12. I'm gonna put an 8. I don't think they're fashionable at all. Even long basketball shorts are just like, oh, goodness. I mean, cargo shorts, the longer they are, the more like things you can put in because the more pockets you can have. But then they just become pants. So, Polly says there's a slight lag. I'll post and take about 45 seconds. Oh, thank you for letting us know.
I've got a triple lag here because I'm looking at, we're actually in an app called StreamYard, and it's got me as I'm speaking live synced with my actual voice. Then there's a delay as it comes up with what you're seeing on screen. and then a further delay before it gets to YouTube. So I'm trying not to look at 3 versions of me that are all out of sync and just focus on one. But
Yes.
yeah, we will. Well, this is why we're going a little slowly and just kind of chatting. And
Yeah.
I love Amanda's thought processes
I
on
am
these.
gonna say 8. I mean, it's funny because when I stream board games, I'm always like, if I did that with that, then that doesn't happen. But if you do this, then I should do that. But if and then people love it when I just like go, and make all the noises that I make while I'm thinking for my strategy. But it's funny because when we play in person and I do that, then they start laughing at me because usually it's just like you're supposed to be quiet and not say anything and just take
Depends
your
on what
turn.
we're playing too.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Foglight,
right.
yes.
Well, I'm going to show you, Amanda. You and I are on pretty much the
Oh,
same wavelength because it was a 9.
uh,
My feeling about long shorts is they're not unfashionable, but they're just kind of
yeah,
boring.
yeah.
Mm,
So, yay! I finally on the same
yeah,
wavelength that
so
you.
there was not a lot of scoring this round. Nobody got the Amanda extra point, and I think only William got any points. He
Yeah.
got, yeah, he got
1,
2.
2, 9. Yeah,
Eh,
yeah, yeah. 2. Yeah.
I don't know. Even on men versus women, I don't know. The whole long shorts thing, it's kind of like I can't be bothered to think about it. I'm feeling comfortable. It's okay, which is fine.
Mm.
There's nothing bad about it, but it's
Do you think there's a normal shorts length for men though? It's like women. There's like such a wide variety, right? But it does look differently, different per person. But like for men, like I don't know. I thought long shorts are more normal than like.
well, I live near West
Oh,
Hollywood,
that's true.
so it's like basically anything that your ass cheeks aren't hanging out of is long shorts in West Hollywood. So
Yes.
it's kind of like and I guess because I'm near West Hollywood, I see people being more creative.
Mm,
It's
mm,
like if you really want to be cool, wear a skirt.
mm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I think depending on the skirt, I think men look as good. I mean, come on, kilts.
Yes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
see, Amanda and I are like, yeah,
Yes.
this
uh.
is this is what you're
Yes.
learning about us today. Uh, oh, this is an interesting one. We'll do
Yes.
one more and I'll answer some more questions.
Yes.
But okay,
Do you
so
want me to give a clue? I could give a clue.
yeah, let's have Amanda can
Let
roll
me let me
a
roll it. Let me
d20,
grab my dice.
or you can use there are apps that you can go to and just roll
I
it.
have a bag of dice. I always have a bag of dice.
I,
As a gamer,
I
you always
have
have a bag of dice near
a
you.
jar of dice. Okay, we're gonna have Amanda do this one, so this will be interesting.
This is a 10.
It
Is
is.
this a 20? Yeah, this is. I have a
I'll just
big 20-sided die.
We're gonna start thinking
Worst
about.
day of the year, best day of the year. Oh my gosh! Now I kind of. What was the date that? What was the date that she said on that movie? April something? April 14th because not too hot and not too cold. Okay. Okay, so worst day of the year. Wait, date, right? Of the year.
Well, it says day. Worst day of the year. Best day of the year. Worst day of the year is going to be toward the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Best day of the year will be toward the 20. So you got a number, and you're trying to get us to guess that number with your hint.
Oh, this is gonna be hard.
Well, we can get some more Amanda sounds in the while you're thinking.
Foglight says kilts are sexy. Agreed. Okay, so I have a roll. I need to say. We'll say. I'm gonna say. Oh, goodness. Alright, I'm gonna say a Sunday in August. That'll be my clue. Mm-hmm.
Okay, chat, what do you think? I mean, we'll give some grades. August is hot. Usually in Los Angeles anyway, it's kind of dry. Um, no, let's see, Amanda's schedule. Well, Amanda tends to, now she streams every day. On the plus side though, there's less traffic on Sundays than during the week. And Amanda drives a lot. So I'm gonna say that this is, well, you're competing against me, chat, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say anything more. I'm just giving you some chat.
Yeah.
But we don't know who else Amanda has to deal with on Sundays. Although sometimes she has to deal with me.
But I usually deal with her on a Saturday. I've kept my Saturday free to deal with Jackie.
Well, that changes my mind about how she feels about Sundays. She could be sad because it's not the weekend day that she's seeing me.
We have Lisa with a 10, Foglight with 17, William with 16, Mark with 13, Karen with 12, Kirk with 15. People think it's a good day in a Sunday in August. Interesting. Jackie, what was yours?
I am with Foglight on this one. I'm going to say 17.
Okay. Well, Lisa won because it was a 10. Yeah, it was exactly
Oh,
in the center. Lisa got the 5 points, y'all. 4 because
now
she's
what were
dead
you
on, and then
thinking
yeah.
on this,
I was
Amanda?
just thinking a Sunday can be like stressful because you're going to the start of your work week, or it's relaxing. It can, I don't know why August seems like fall to me, even though it is really hot in LA for some reason, but it's supposed to be cooling down for winter. But then because August, September, no, September, October, November is actually winter. But I didn't want to get into the holiday season because, so I wanted it to be like a very dead center. So Pogline says 10, how dare you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because like
I'm
Saturday's my relaxing day because I have a hard work week and I'm gonna just relax on a Saturday, and then Sundays when I'm prepping for the next work week or dealing with stuff. So yeah, I don't know. You guys all think Sundays are better than, well, see, Wednesday is hump day, but Wednesday's a really bad day because it's like everyone is like really like just in the middle of the work week. So that's very interesting.
sort of looking for one that would be that's going to be. Would you like to do another one, Amanda?
Sure, I don't mind.
All
This
right,
is
okay,
fun.
let's do this. This I can give you this. Oh, it's not. It's not anything. Oh, that I'm going to give you both sides of this card.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I scored no points on that. All right, we're going to do
A bad
that.
movie or good movie? Okay. Or, ooh, wait. Yeah, I love my barbecues. Lisa, do you do barbecues on Sunday? Is that why? Monday is bad. Yeah. What's the other side?
I think.
Oh,
Oh no, I'm going to give it to you. So you got to do bad movie,
and
good
good
movie.
movie. Okay, so I gotta roll the die. Okay, okay. Oh, this is gonna be hard, y'all. Oh, dang.
See, this is why you should watch his Twitch
Oh,
channel. You
oh
get
my
lots of
goodness.
this.
Oh, I gotta think of what. Oh. I know, because everyone's taste is slightly different. Oh.
By the way, Amanda
Oh.
and I have never talked about movies, so I
No, we
have no idea
haven't.
what kind of movies she likes.
What kind of movies do you like? Like what I'm like one of those movies are for entertainment for me, so I don't watch documentaries. Document I don't know, I can't say that word. Doc oh my gosh, no. You know what I'm talking.
Documentaries. Amanda does not watch
Documentaries, yes,
documentaries.
thank you, yes. And then, so I like just like I like action or just something to relax to. Like I rarely watch romantic comedies. They just like are kind of worthy for me a bit. So I like action, adventure, like basically, for my visual entertainment, I like it to be just like, fun, relaxing, not a lot of thought. What about you, Jackie?
Well, I tend to like television way better than movies, and I like my TV dark. I
Oh,
like, I do like really dark stuff. And I also like historical stuff.
we're
So,
completely
like,
opposite.
Game of Thrones was just like heaven for me because because I knew the historical stuff that was being borrowed from, let's say, and it was nice and dark.
Okay.
So that's kind of the ideal. And
Mm,
yeah, like right now, I'm really into watching Tokyo Vice,
mm, okay.
is which is
Interesting.
cool, and things that are other cultures. Like I don't need to. I'm not big on rom coms.
Yeah, neither am I. William says the Big Lebowski, 20 pulp fiction. I think 20 is supposed to be spaces. Um,
I think he's yeah. So you're saying what your twenties are.
oh, I see. I see. Game of Thrones was the best. I still haven't finished that series. Sorry, y'all.
I
Um,
have not only finished the series, I've read every one of the books
oh,
several times, and they're like 1,000 pages
yeah,
each.
yeah.
And let's face it, we are never getting Winds of Winter. George R. R. Martin is just like, yeah,
He's
I got
Brit.
TV money.
Ah, yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm not sitting in a room
yeah.
keeping track of complicated plots. I don't know
Ooh.
why he doesn't just have, he's a ghostwriter.
Um, yeah. Okay, 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 y'all. Okay, good movie versus bad movie. Bad movies are 1. Good movies are 20. I'm gonna say The Godfather.
Okay. Well, The Godfather is clearly a great movie. It's a classic movie. So the question is, now we know you have a pretty good idea. If it was me, The Godfather is going to be like, I mean, a 19. Except when my previous cats reenacted the horse scene with a lizard.
Oh no.
That I was not crazy about. It was like, oh, there's a lizard head in my chair, not my bed, but it was like, oh, there's a lizard head here. Where the hell's the rest of the lizard?
Oh no.
That was kind of fun. Did eventually find the rest of the lizard, the headless lizard. Yeah. So The Godfather, I'm gonna say that Amanda put it. Oh, she better have put it at least this high, or we're gonna have words, Amanda. You say 18.
So
I'm with
Fog Light
I'm with
says
the squad on
19,
this.
William says 19, Mark says 18, Kirk says 18, Karen says 13, Lisa says 7. Lisa did not like The
No, or
Godfather.
she thinks
She
you
thinks
didn't
I
like it.
didn't like The Godfather. Okay.
Okay, let's give another 15
Yeah,
seconds. Anybody
yeah.
else?
No, I'm not like, I have such a bad poker face. It's so funny.
We
But
have we have a diversity of opinion about this. All right, Amanda.
mm. Okay, so it's funny because you were like, the first instinct for you was 19, but then you changed it to an 18, and it was actually a 19. So I was like, what's a really great movie that everyone likes? And I was like, oh, but I can't say things like Marvel because Marvel's kind of like, what people debate on whether or not it's gonna be very or not. So I said, like, I have to do a classic. I was thinking Shawshank Redemption because I really like that game, but I mean that movie, but I don't know if it's like classic enough. So I was like, Godfather's good. Everyone's gonna say 1920. So Lisa says, I love The Godfather. You didn't think I would like it? Oh my gosh, yes, Spotlight, you got it. William, you got it. That's right. A lot of
Rob,
points
I'm
to
going to tell
everyone.
you the scariest movie for me because I saw it in the theater when it first came out was Jaws.
Ah, okay.
I was
Now
like,
we don't think it's scary at all, but yes.
no. Now it's just like kind of cheesy. Well, it's still a classic movie. It's still
Yeah,
a great movie at building up suspense, but
yeah,
um, I mean, that shark is the nobody's scared of that shark.
yeah,
But in
yeah.
19, was it 73 when it came out? Something when
Hmm.
no, it was later actually. I don't know why I was so scared, but is literally like I'd get out of bed at night, and when I put my foot down, on the floor, it was like, oh, it's the water. There's a shot in the
Yes.
dark.
I don't like any type of scary movies. I don't like any horror films or TV shows. But I was at a friend's house. They were watching. What's the one with the ring and then the Japanese? It's a Japanese horror movie with the all white girl like coming out of the ring or whatever. Um,
Isn't it just the
is
ring?
it the ring or is it a circle? I don't know. But I
Yeah.
was there. Apparently they were watching it. I didn't realize it. I went and you know how couches have like cushions in the back? I went and squeezed in behind the cushions, between the cushions and the couch back. I was like behind everyone else and I was like watching like this, like and then like I literally had plugged my ears and my eyes because the jump scares are from the music. They go da-da-da, and you're like, oh crap, you know what I mean? With the visual of someone popping out. So I plugged my ears and I was watching through my fingers behind the cushions of the couch behind everybody else. And that is the scariest movie I've ever sort of seen.
When I watch actual scary movies, I just kind of sit there with my arms crossed, making stink face, going, "This is stupid," and it's like just or it's loud, and I do not like
Mm,
suddenly loud.
mm,
These
yeah.
scary movies don't. They either don't scare me or they rely a lot on.
Jump scares.
And the good ones, there actually are some good ones. The good ones um, set you up for expecting that moment
Uh-huh.
and then don't do it and
Oh,
surprise you with
with
when it's going
something
to
else.
happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott Alden,
Hi,
we were talking
Scott.
about Board Game Geek earlier. Scott Alden that is his website,
Yep.
the very awesome Board Game Geek. And we're playing Wavelength right now with we should have. Yes. So, Scott, you're going to like this one because
Just so everyone knows, Board Game Geek also has a Twitch channel, Board Game Geek, and Jackie has actually gone and played on one of their game nights before. They also, I think they put it on their YouTube channel as well, if I'm mistaken or not.
yes, they do.
Yeah, so if you want to watch Jackie play board games with Board Game Geek, you can watch it on their Twitch channel or their YouTube channel. So there's
They always
that.
have very fun people on there, and they teach a game and then they play through the whole game so that you can see it being played, which helps reinforce how to play it. Plus they're very entertaining, and they have the best hair of all the streamers. And
That's funny.
sometimes Scott is there.
Yes.
I met Scott. He was just like the voice in the sky,
That's
very godlike. All right,
funny.
so we are playing Wavelength, and we're seeing if we can guess right now what Amanda thinks of on this quote. Oh, this I can't give you that one. That one's too. I can't do that to you. I like
Wait,
you
am
too
I
much.
rolling die and giving the clue or you?
Um, no, you're gonna be giving us the clue
Okay.
again, but I can't do that one to you. It's too potentially controversial. So here, let's do this one. This is
I love games like this because you do find, you learn about your fellow gamers and you get to know people. It's a great icebreaker and then you can start, on the hard hitting rule games where you're going to hate each other by the end of it. But this is not one of them.
this is So we're going to do, or it shouldn't be, but this
Yes.
one could. So
Uh-oh.
we're going to do. Let
Smells
me.
bad, smells good. Okay.
So over toward the one, because we're just rolling a d20 for those
Yes.
of you who just joined us. So a one and low numbers are going to be smells bad,
Mm-hmm.
and closer to 20 will be smells good.
Okay. Okay.
So Amanda's going to roll.
Uh-huh. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. But then, unfortunately. Oh, okay. I'm going to say the clue is. Um.
At least she's not saying me.
Let's see.
Like
Um,
the 20.
this is hard, y'all, because you have to base your clue on the number or whatever the little contraption gives you. You can't pick your number. So it's I'm gonna say uh workout clothes after working out at for 2 hours.
Well, again, if it was me, 20,
That
because
smells good to you?
my sweat smells like cherry dust. Delightful.
Delightful. Awesome.
Mm, yes.
Do you all
Also,
think Jackie will smell like dewdrops and
Chris, you
sunshine
gotta
after
understand,
working?
my idea of working out for 2 hours is changing the channel several times. So, you know, I do smell
I'm
lovely
thinking
after
like in the gym, like sweating workout, not like,
actual workout.
actually working out.
I've got no frame of reference for that. Of course, again, it depends on who it is, because some people
Mm,
have better hygiene to begin with,
mhm, mhm,
and it depends on what you've eaten, because that's what you're going to sweat out.
mhm,
If you've been
mhm,
eating garlic, that could be
mhm,
nasty.
mhm.
Um, I know what my guess is going to be. Let's see what the chat comes up with.
Mark says a 1. He thinks it's absolutely disgusting. Foglight says 3. Scott says 6. William says 3. Karen says 3. Kirk says 5. Lisa says 6. Mm, Jackie, what do you think?
I'm gonna say that it's 4.
It's a 4. You are correct! It's exactly 4.
Oh, first
You
time hitting
the
it
chat was
spot
jumping like
on.
right around there, and I'm like, "Come on, chat, you can do it!" And then Jackie goes, "I'm gonna go right in the middle of chat." I didn't want it to be too stinky, like fish left out, for a day, in the sun, but it couldn't be like.
Hygiene does matter after 2 hours, because if you have a good deodorant on,
Mhm.
you're going to
Mhm.
smell better working out for 2 hours than if you have none on. So
Yes.
I'm going to disagree with you there, Mark. I don't usually like disagreeing with my chat, because
Yes.
it's how you alienate people. But yeah,
What
by the
don't
way,
you guys sweat a lot when you're playing a gig, like underneath all of that lighting and you're like on stage and you're like getting all into the performance? Aren't you guys very sweaty after a gig?
oh yeah, definitely. But I'm just trying to, but I don't remember, like, I
Smelling
don't
yourself?
get super, well, no, I don't get super, or I didn't when I was younger. I certainly did not get super stinky. Um, now I don't use that real, like that deodorant that just has all the toxic stuff in it. That's a naughty word. Has toxic stuff in it that really absorbs odor. So I don't use natural deodorants, because the supernatural ones
Don't work at
do
well.
not work. They don't work.
Yeah.
Like the clay stuff, forget about it. So I use something that's for sensitive skin. It works pretty well, but I haven't worked out for 2 hours since starting that. Now, the thing that makes me sweat anyway is being cold.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Usually you're hot when you're hot, you sweat, and then you get
The
cold
way
down.
no, when I'm cold, I will start shivering, and that will make me
Oh,
start sweating.
yeah, yeah.
And there you go. Now you've learned something about me that you really didn't need to or probably want to know. But yeah, that I am very, like, mentally, I'll sit there and play the most complex games, but it's like, run, forget it. It just is not going to happen. All right, we're going to do one more of these, and then maybe we'll take some more questions. And I think would
You
you
roll
like
the
this one?
die. You
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 want me to
give the
roll it?
clue.
Okay, I
Yeah.
will do this. I like this category. Hopefully, we get a good, fun roll.
Trashy versus
Trashy or classy?
trashy or classy.
Trashy or classy? Let's see. What do I got? What do I need to get you to hit? Oh, okay.
That's gonna be very interesting. Trashy or classy? Um.
Um,
That's an interesting question, William. We will maybe answer.
I'm trying to decide, do I give you a person or a thing?
Uh-huh. Trashy
Hmm.
or classy? So like, okay, so like classy would be like if you did a thing, would it be like a crystal vase would be classy, or would that even be trashy? Like trashy would be like a plastic trash can as a vase, I guess, or I don't know, like
Nah, it would be more like, might be, I'm, I got to give you, so Scott, I got to give you my, my total
clue.
20 and total
Yeah.
0. So classy to me was um, Madeleine Albright on an official State Department visit.
Okay.
All right, that's going to be classy. Um, Trashy is going to be uh, it is, is drunk Reese Witherspoon shouting, "Don't you know who I am? I'm an American, damn it!" All right, that to me is a
Would
one.
Reese Witherspoon really be that? Like, has
She
she
did
been
that. Oh
drunk?
no,
Really?
she did that. She got pulled over for drunk driving, and she was screaming, "Don't you know who I am? I'm an American. Damn it, I have rights."
Oh my gosh, Reese Witherspoon is like she curates
I
her
should. I
like,
mean,
pers-
it's. I hate to say that that's trashy. It's just what
yeah,
came to mind because
yeah,
that's actually unfortunate.
yeah,
I do not approve of drunk driving, but
yeah,
it happens to people, and then they're going to be at their worst
yeah,
because nobody is good when you're already in that space, and then you have the shock of being pulled over.
yeah.
But the trashy part is, yes, that is true. It is probably on the internet, and you can Google that. But the trashy part was the "I'm an American," was the assertion of privilege.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed. Um,
So
Scott says
asserting
a leg
privilege.
lamp is pretty trashy. Yeah, with the tassels around the the shade.
What's oh, you
It's
mean the
literally a
actual?
leg, like a fake leg, and then as the base of
Oh,
the lamp, right? And then there's tassels around the shade. Like you see it in those old movies that like I don't know, like 60s, 70s, or even 80s. Like they're in the trashy motel rooms and stuff. So
all right. Well, I'm going to give you for my clue. It's bleached blonde hair on older women.
Oh dear, Jackie. Oh me, oh my.
Now, while you're thinking about that, okay, so Scott, don't remember the circumstances of this, but yeah, but the video of it was kind of spectacular, and it's, you hate to kind of say I'm going to be remembered for my worst moment,
Yeah.
and it's not as entertainingly celebrity awful and trashy as, sorry, as Mel Gibson yelling, "Who wants dinner?"
I
There's
don't
a
remember this at all.
Oh, there's an audio tape of him being abusive toward his then, think it was his girlfriend. I don't know if they were married or not. And he's just screaming, and then at the end of it, he yells, "Who wants dinner?" It's just, um, yeah. He had a few bad moments that were captured on tape.
Yeah.
That's always kind of the nightmare, right? That you're generally, well, I don't know if Mel Gibson counts as a generally nice person or not. I don't know him, but yeah, that somebody is just going to catch you on that one really bad moment that you have, and
Yeah.
it's going to get public, and that's going to be how you're perceived forever.
Yeah.
So I try very much to be like, it's very easy even right now to kind of forget somebody could be recording this.
Yes.
And like me, I mean, I'm going to leave this on my YouTube channel. So it just feels like us chatting, and you can forget that the question is on trashy, which would be 1 and the lower numbers, versus classy for 20. I said bleached blonde hair on older women. So you have to decide where on a scale of 1 to 20 I put that.
I'm waffling, y'all. I'm really waffling. Plus, okay, Jackie is not a bleach blonde hair. She has highlights and lowlights and does a tone on top of her um hair. So, and she's pretty classy, y'all. We gotta just put that out there. So,
And what Amanda is saying is, yes, I'm older.
older than me, definitely.
I'm
There,
I'm getting there. I'm not quite ready
no.
for the senior discounts, but they're coming.
Oh yeah. Oh, the early bird, like the
The early bird special. Yeah, next convention we do go to where they don't remove the mask mandate. We're gonna be eating dinner at 5 o'clock, I'm telling you.
It's funny because I already do that.
Well, you gotta eat dinner at 5 at conventions so that you can go, start your nighttime game
Yes.
at a reasonable hour to hit
Yes.
the
Especially
closing time.
if you're gonna do a longer game. Everyone thinks that it's not that trashy. That okay, so we have Mark that's like, oh, that's pretty trashy. That's a 6. And then Kirk's at 11, Foglight's at 12, Karen's at 15, and Scott's at 13. So there people are not thinking they're so this is the team part, right? If we were on the same team, right? Then we could be like, oh, like changing other people's minds and stuff. I was thinking it was pretty trashy. Like my whole thing was like, it seems pretty trashy in on first glance. Lisa says 12, so I was thinking like a 5, but then like Mark put 6, and everyone's putting so far over that I was thinking of maybe doing an H, but William says 18. Wow, William
What?
likes the
I think
blonde.
William's messing with us. I think he's messing with you specifically,
Yes,
Amanda.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna stick to my first instinct, and usually when you first think of like bleached blonde hair on older women, you're gonna think it's really usually not done well and the hair is pretty dry, because I do like the look of like silver and hair. Like the gray when it's done right, like it's gonna be very stylish. There's a lot of like younger people that were dyeing their hair gray, which was very interesting. But I'm gonna say a 5. That's my final answer. What was it?
And I'm gonna just say, so when we age, your hair is grows in gray, right? So it's going to make your hair look duller. If you have dark hair, it's going to make it look a little lighter. If you have light hair, it's going to make it look a little duller. And the problem is that if you completely dye your hair black, or you do it very, very bleached blonde, it's going to, the contrast with the things that are not so easy to hide makes you look older than you are. So if you've had like been dyeing your hair blonde or black, you need to go a little bit lighter if your hair was dark, and darker if your hair was light. Otherwise, you end up looking like a 5. Amanda's
Ah,
time.
yes.
So yeah, we're doing we're doing well with this.
Yes.
Okay, now
Uh,
Alpha 3 is asking a very interesting question. Is there
yes.
anything that you miss about the 70s? Clothes, parties, whatever. I was never a very big party person, and the kinds of parties in the 70s really just involved people getting totally wasted, or people going into the bathroom to hook up, and then you would have to pee and you could never get into the bathroom because they had been doing drugs, so their little stuff in the bathroom took a really long time, and you just would finally be like, off to pee in somebody's kitchen sink, which was never cool.
That's gross.
Um, and I'm saying this, I imagine. um, but I'll tell you what I miss about the 70s is just this general sense of freedom. Like I I feel like everybody is so with social media really makes people anxious about what other people think of them in a way that is just magnified beyond anything that I can have imagined when I was a teenager. It's like that's the thing. Everything you do, every little dumb moment is captured forever. Everything you say that you shouldn't have said is there forever. And this whole everybody needs such approval. We're such an approval heavy
Mm.
society. Like, I don't know about you, but I go and any place I go, I get texts immediately. How did we do today? Give us feedback. And I'm just like, what are you, 5? Like, one of the things about Board Game Arena that I think is crazy is that it'll give you a little trophy for everything.
Yeah.
And Amanda's heard me say this, like, what are we, 5? You get a trophy because you played this game 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
You get a trophy because you won this game 3 times.
Yeah.
You get a trophy just because we feel like giving you a trophy and we feel like you need one. And so there's that. That was kind of, we didn't have that. And you could just have, like, even waiting during the Arab oil embargo, which you are probably mostly all too young to remember. We would had gas. I don't want to say rationing, but it kind of was rationing, where depending on whether your license plate was an odd or even number, you could only get gas every other day or on Sunday. And I don't know how this happened, but gas lines would be 3 hours. It would be crazy. And if you were a teenager at the time, and I was still a teenager, we just kind of made it a party, and we hung out because we didn't have these really serious obligations, and we didn't have social media accounts to keep checking. So we all ended up talking to each other and hanging out, and just that whole attitude of feeling like you were in something with other people and that things were going to get better, and we're looking up, was really nice. I do miss that. And of course you always miss the era that has, when you were a teen, that music, because that's the music that, that's the age when you really listen to music a lot, right? So for me, that's 70s music. And yeah, and the music was great, and I still listen to the music and think that it was awesome. So Amanda, you're about 20 years younger than I am. So for you, it would be the 90s would
Mm-hmm.
be an equivalent time for you. So I'd say you're making this face, although you just went blurry on my screen, but what is it about the 90s that you miss?
I mean, basically, it was all hormones and boy bands for me right now in the 90s. So it was, it was funny because I just came, like a couple months ago, I went to Dice Tower West, which is in Vegas, and then a couple of friends of mine, we road trip back to LA, and we just played all the like boy band music and had a fun carpool karaoke, and it was hilarious. And we were just like, do you remember this boy band or that boy band? And oh my gosh, I was standing outside of a Backstreet Boys concert with my other friend and her little brother, and I had this bright orange jacket on that my aunt had given to me, and this reporter's like, "Oh, can we ask you, interview for a segment on the news?" I'm like, "Sure." So her little brother's like all bored, and she's like standing behind me, and they're like, "What is the best thing about BSB music?" And I'm like, and I just said some BS. I was like, I love how their music transcends me to another plane and all this other crap. And I was just like, that is hilarious. And I got on the news, and it was just like, I knew I was totally BSing, and I was giving them exactly what they wanted though. So, but yeah, no, it was just, yeah, I just remember like everyone just talking about boy bands and which boy band was better and having the boy band wars and
What was your favorite boy band? What was your 20 of boy bands?
Oh, I was totally a BSB, but I have to say All For One was really like I love their music. They were kind of unrelated. Boys to Men kind of overshadowed them, but All For One was really good. But yeah, BSB was my hype, like my girl, was a fangirl moment thing. And I still like it's funny when you go to BSB concerts like in your 20s, and then everyone's getting drunk, and then they have new music, so every time they do the old music from when you were teenager, everyone's singing drunk off their minds, and just singing as loud as they can because everyone knows the words. But then they get the new music and everyone sits down and it's quiet because we have no idea what the song is, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious. And they're still good dancers. They're still doing concerts in Vegas, and it's just crazy that they're still together and still like doing this stuff, and it's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, like my earlier than that, it would be uh the other, oh gosh, New Kids on the Block would be my babysitter's boy band, and then it was like NSYNC versus BSB, and um you know 98 degrees and all that stuff. But then nowadays, everyone's hot for the K-pop and the J-pop boy bands and stuff.
I
So
gotta say, I'm kind of obsessed with K-pop, but I'm more obsessed with Blackpink, which is the all-female K-pop group. I'm kind of obsessed with them because they have to they're just total performers. I mean,
mm,
they're packaged, but they're brands, and and you just see how focused they are,
yeah,
and how well crafted the music is. It may not be your thing, or maybe it is, but man, are those songs well crafted.
yeah.
And then you're getting the best people to perform them, and they're very charismatic, and they do it all. They sing, they dance, they
Sometimes they act, even they
feel.
act. Yeah,
Yeah, especially the women.
yeah. I don't think
Um,
90s fashion was all that great, or even entertainment was all
no,
that
because we
great.
had those giant shoulder pads.
Yeah,
Shoulder pads are horrible.
yeah, no.
They're horrible.
But
70s fashion was really fun.
that one was cool. The bell bottoms, the bright prints and
The
stuff.
crop tops,
Yeah, I mean those are coming back though.
yeah,
There's a lot
and
of
platform
70s
shoes.
fashion that's came back. Like bell bottoms came back, but they were called uh like boyfriend jeans or something with the straight legs or the wider pant legs and stuff. So it's interesting that how they modernize a lot of 70s fashion. Um Clyde says music's like comfort food. You connect songs with moments in your life. I 100% agree. Um it's very, very true. Fall Light likes Blackpink too. Um Kirk used to be way into K-pop in college. Wow. Yeah, they have crazy choreography too, and they're it's their job. Like it's funny because I feel like a lot of like I think starting with like New Kids and BSB and Sync, where boy bands, it wasn't like it was just them and their friends getting together like it was before that time, where it was actually curated, like someone chose the specific people in the group, and with K-pop and J-pop, it's that thing where they audition and then someone chooses the correct, the person with the right talent or the look or the charisma and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. And they have to be able to dance because they have the most crazy choreography, and they have a lot of choreography. Like they do a lot of dancing, and I'm
Yeah.
still in wonder when like BSB remembers their choreography from way back in the day, and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, Bob says, do you still play bass, or I'll add or
I
guitar?
I don't, because I stopped playing, because I knew that if I kept playing, I was going to want to do it for a living, and I did not want to be in the music industry. Um, it is it is a den of snakes.
Mm.
It's not really, wait, snakes don't come in a den. Foxes are come in a den. Um,
But you would like to be in a den of foxes.
I don't know that I really would, because I think they would bite me, but a den of kittens, definitely.
Oh yes.
So hopefully I'll be in a little den of kittens soon
Yeah.
after, yeah.
So for those of you who came late, the special guests were supposed to be her kittens, but unfortunately, she hasn't gotten them yet. So hopefully, her and her nephew are gonna free the kittens soon. So
Okay, now speaking of kittens, I did say we were going to do this. So those of you who
yes.
have stuck with me, I am open to names for the cats. So let me tell you about the kittens. They are sisters. They are silver tabbies. They have the worst temporary names that their foster gave them, because they gave them the names Silver Bullet, and Tutti Frutti. Seriously, it does not get much worse than that for cats. So right now, one of them is probably going to be named Jelly Bean,
Mm.
or Juju for short.
Oh.
Um, but that's not written in stone. I just read somewhere that that was the name of a cat on Malcolm in the Middle,
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
who apparently died in one episode, but then in the next episode was undead. It was too upsetting for people that the cat was dead. So I don't know. What anybody have any names for them? They are little like tiger striped tabbies, but their color is a silvery gray, and they look very much alike, except that one has a little kind of darker nose. I did, well, Foglight, I did jokingly say I was going to name the cats Sit and Speak, just so that when, the vet tech comes out to call them in and goes, sit, on all the dogs in the waiting room suddenly sit, which I think would be hilarious. But not enough reason to name a cat
Yeah.
Sit.
Oh,
Uh,
William says Schrodinger.
Schrodinger, but I know too many people that already have cats named Schrodinger.
Mm,
So
mm.
we need to go, I want to go a little bit whimsical, but not too. A little bit, it's got to shorten down to, it can be a long name, but it's got to shorten down to a name that I can call them. Like I was tempted to Dr. Seuss them and call them Thing One and Thing Two. Which I sort of nicknamed my last cats, but the problem is I don't want their medical records getting mixed up.
Oh
So
yeah,
it
that's true.
might be a little too close.
See, I was thinking of Fox or Foxy because they're silver foxes, you know? So like one would be Foxy and then the other, I don't know. I haven't thought of
But
that.
it's kind of my nickname.
I know,
So
exactly. That's just the hilarious part. If you
I
go,
don't know. And
oh,
then
there's
everyone,
Foxy, and you're like, wait, what are you talking about me?
I know. And the joke would be that people, I think at this point, know that it was me. They used to not to, that on the song Hollywood, that is me yelling at the beginning, "Hey, Foxy, come here." But I just know that everybody would be asking me forever to be like yelling out, "Hey, Foxy, come here."
And then your
And
cat would come every single
my cat would come
time.
and be like, "What?"
Aurora is a very pretty name. Aurora, I like
That
that.
is.
Joe and Pandora. Oh, I like Pandora too.
I have a
Moonbeam.
friend who's one of my best friends has a cat named Pandora, who is
Oh,
also silver and very beautiful and very worthy of the name Pandora.
I like Smoke or Smoky. I don't know.
I'm a little though hesitant about the spot on names,
Okay.
like like Midnight for the black cat.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I want it to be a
What about
little,
Luna? Luna, like the Sailor Moon cat.
and like
Uh,
Luna from Harry Potter,
oh yeah.
Luna
Uh,
Lovegood.
yeah. Sparrow and Starling. Oh, I like Starling. Starling's pretty.
These are interesting. My nephew wants me to name one of the cats Miso.
I like Miso. That's
But isn't that the cat?
cute.
And I looked up because I have a feeling I've known a lot of cats named Miso,
Uh-huh.
and I looked it up, and it's like that's the default cat name in Stardew Valley
Oh yes. Yeah.
video game. So,
Yeah.
and then people will be saying, "Oh, like Stardew Valley," and I'll be like, "Never played it."
Well, there's also Stardew Valley, the board game out now, so you might have to play that.
I might.
James Brazil, hello. How are you?
Hello.
What? Oh, see, what other
We're trying
cat
to name.
names?
We're trying to name my new kittens.
Two female kittens that are great tabbies. I don't know. You could just name them something completely different, um, like a different animal.
Well, like these particular friends who have the Pandora also have a female cat named the Great and Powerful Oz, or Ozzy for short. But that shortens nicely.
Yes, yes.
So that's kind of part of it is, well, all right. Anybody thinks of great cat names, you can shoot me a DM on Facebook or
Mm,
Twitter or Instagram, and I will definitely take it into account because I'm getting them tomorrow, one way or another, and they are going to need names.
yes.
So
Lisa
they
says
are.
Starry. They could be Starry Nights, and then you would be like
Well,
Starry.
then I would give them, but then I'd give them the full name of works of art,
Oh
famous
yeah,
works.
that's true. That's true.
So one would be Starry Night, and the other would be maybe uh, the
The
Birth of Venus.
Scream. Oh, name one pajama. Oh,
Uh,
pajamas.
yeah, there's a. Oh, now that's interesting. Although
Ooh.
in that case, I might do.
Feynman
Uh,
and Oppenheimer. Yeah, you could do famous
yeah,
musicians.
well, those are scientists
Oh yes, from
because
this. Yeah,
yeah.
astronomers, right?
But here's the thing: I would want to name them after women
Mm.
because I'm very much in this thing of it's always yeah, Mona and
Mona
Lisa,
Lisa.
which I would actually like. Except that Mona she did the artwork on my board game.
Oh,
And that is my brother-in-law's sister's name. So I already have a Mona in my life. And
Victoria
Cleo
and
was the name
Cleo.
of my last cat that passed away a year and a
Ooh.
half ago. So I know people who keep giving their pets the same name. And in fact, I did at one point adopt a Siamese cat that I named the Dread Pirate Roberts. We've always figured that, after he was gone, then you'd still have the Dread Pirate Roberts, right? But um,
Rosalind and Franklin, the Dark Lady of
with DNA,
DNA.
yes, who exactly, Mark? Yeah, actually, I kind of like that.
Rosalind, I like Rosalind. My
Yeah.
friend John named his cats Haley and Comet for Haley's Comet, and I was like, that's pretty cute.
By the way, Mark Lavitt, who is joining us from the UK, where I guess he just had his supper, but he is better known as the Beast of the Chase fame and formidable world trivia quizzing champion and a very nice human being,
Awesome.
despite being nicknamed the Beast. And could just name one of actually, that would be a good name for a cat, Mark. What do you think? Beast.
Ooh, it would be. I mean, when you're angry, you could be like, "That's the beast," but when you're like,
Always my beast. My beast. Yeah.
the beastie, the Beastie Girls instead of the Beastie Boys.
Hmm. It could be. Maybe famous beasts. All right. So should we do are we done playing wavelength or you want to do a couple more?
We have about 10 minutes. We can do maybe a couple more. But Lisa did had a question way back when, and I think we did answer it in a previous AMA. But have you kept any of your clothes from back in the day? And do you have the gold jacket?
No, and actually the piece that I wish I had was not the gold jacket. It was the gold Fiorucci jeans because they were like a beaten gold that looked like real gold, not all yellow like what most gold lame looks like. And they were just stunning. They were these tight painted on beaten gold pants that I think they cost me like $600 back in the 70s. I mean, I had no money. I flew to New York to go to the Fiorucci store, which at the time I thought was, a 19 on the trashy classy scale. And now I think back at what they were putting out and, maybe more of an 8. But those pants were just phenomenal, and I wish I had them. I also wish I had my tour jacket that they gave me in Japan that had my name on it and said Queens of Noise because it was the Queens of Noise tour, and I have no idea where that jacket ended up. I think Cherie's is, I believe, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Ah,
So somewhere in that museum, but mine, who knows?
have a good day,
Anyway,
Alpha. Let's do a couple more. Let's do.
okay, let's find an interesting one. Oh, I like this. We're gonna do this for Amanda.
Okay, so just real quick. Speaking of clothes, do you have any souvenirs from back in the day when you were in the
I have
runaways?
lots of newspaper and magazine clippings
Oh, okay. Okay.
for sure. So I do have stuff,
Okay.
and it's it is not being properly stored. I need to do something about that. But I also have what I know none of the other women in the band have. I've kept royalty accounts, like records and business stuff. So
Oh.
I have files of all that stuff going back quite a ways. And that to me is kind of interesting because that's the real history of a band, right? Not
Mhm.
just what the world is seeing, it's what's going on behind the scenes.
That's interesting.
All right, Amanda,
Is
here we go.
I'm giving the clue? Okay.
Yeah, you are going to give the clue
Okay.
for
Bad influence or role
and role
model?
model.
Okay, so
So
role model is a
is
role model is a 1 and a bad influence is a 20? We'll do a role model as a
do
20
it
and
up. We'll do them upside
yeah,
down. Yeah,
we'll
role
do
model
role
is
model as a
a
20 and bad influence is a 1, okay?
yes. That makes more sense. So
Okay. Okay. This is gonna be easy, y'all. This is gonna
this
be
is
easy.
easy. All
Yes.
right.
You
What's
ready?
the clue?
The clue is Jackie Fox.
I'm just going to tell you, if this is anything besides a 20, you are so dead.
Do you how much of a role model or bad influence do you think Jackie is? Throw it into the
Although I
chat.
did, in fairness, okay, Amanda and I met because I made Rodney Smith of Watch It Played, who does some of the best board game teaches in the known world. So you can check out Watch It Played on his YouTube channel. I did get, oh, thank you, Mark. I saw that.
Six
I
packs.
did get Rodney to cut up one of his
He,
shirts on
yeah, you
his live
did.
stream.
He literally cut up the sleeves of a shirt of his. You've done other stuff too. It's just not the sleeves. And it's funny because then when Chaz came on, he had just sleeves from a brown shirt. And I'm like, did you send that or did he just cut up another shirt?
No, Chaz and Rodney were definitely on the same wavelength about that one.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, well, mostly bad influence. We flipped it because the high numbers are role model.
Yes.
And I might be Schrodinger's bad influence role model. I can be both places at once. It should be 21.
Yeah,
It's
we
20
so
and one.
after Jackie did that to poor Rodney, I was in the next one, and he had a cake, a small cake, right? Because it was someone's birthday or something, and I was like, and he does he's famous for his box flips when in his videos where he flips boxes of like board games and stuff, and catches
And
them
catches
upright
them.
and stuff. So I was like, "Can you flip that cake?" And then he's like, "Oh," and then we became friends. Then we bonded over making Rodney doing stupid stuff, and then we
Stupid
just
stuff.
got
Yeah.
too out of the out of the norm. And then he's like, "I'm not gonna do this anymore." Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, we've tried. We have to bring that back.
Yeah.
Making
So
Rodney do stupid stuff.
well,
Right.
he hasn't done. He's moved to Twitch. He hasn't done a lot of YouTube lives anymore. So if you want, check out Watch It Played on Twitch. And there's a lot of good playthroughs with him and his whole gang. But Mark
Right.
said six max.
But he puts his regular video content with the how to play things
Yeah.
are on YouTube.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, but not his lives anymore. That's just the thing.
No,
I think
but
he
you
does
know what?
put the VODs on, right?
He is, yes. He is, okay, so, and he is supposed to be doing a game with Amanda and me on Amanda's channel one of these days. I will post it when we do that, and we will definitely make him do something stupid.
Oh dear. Good luck, Rodney.
I hope Rodney's not watching.
Mark
Don't tell him.
Monkey, 20, Foglight 20, Lisa 20. Everyone's sucking up. William 18, James 18, mostly bad influence. Kirk says 20, Karen 19.75. Bob, a definite 20. Jackie, what do you think the number is?
Well, I think it had better be 1 or 20. If you put me in the middle, I'm actually really going to be unhappy.
It It was 18. So two
All
people
right.
got it right. You are not a complete role model, lady. You are a bad influence in certain
That's
ways.
true. On a scale of, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I am not Ruth Bader
No, you're
Ginsburg.
not.
I will agree with that. So,
So I did put you at an 18. So I was like, that was pretty smart of me. It was like pretty much dead on. But congratulations, William and James, you got it. Yeah, and everyone else just sucked up. No, just kidding. Yeah.
all right. Oh, okay. I will do one more, and
Yes.
then we will do our sign offs here. But I would like to again for anybody who came late, you can see how delightful Amanda is, and she is a regular Twitch streamer. So she's going to pop up her Twitch channel. Go over there, subscribe, check her out, follow. She's just delightful and wonderful, and yeah, go
Thank you so
check her
much.
out. And then, well, this could come up interesting. Okay, I'm going to do this one. It's going to be
Bad for
bad for
you
you,
or good for you?
good for you. And bad for
Interesting.
you will be one and low numbers, and good for you is numbers approaching 20.
Okay. Okay.
And let me roll and say,
Hi, Kirk. It says the first time watching y'all stream. Thank you. You can watch the VOD of the other two live AMAs on Jackie's YouTube. So let me know. So please do that. Yes, James, I am close to 1,000 followers on Twitch. So if you want to
wow,
follow me, please feel free to do that. Jackie, it was bad. What was it?
it was bad for you
Bad for you,
or
good
good
for
for
you.
you.
Okay.
And I'm going to say sandwiches on white bread.
Okay. Huh. Because sandwiches does have their place, right? They're pretty healthy, but white bread is not that healthy. So, very, very interesting. Mikkel says Amanda is also very active on Twitter and lots of fun to follow. Thank you so much, Mikkel. Michael, I think I've seen you on the Salt and Sass channel, right? Who they also are a board game streamer. They're also very awesome. If you don't know saltandsass.com or Salt and Sass Games on YouTube and Twitch, by Mandy Hutchinson and Suzanne Sheldon. And also David sometimes also streams. Karen says 8 as in Foglight says 13, Mark says 12. Sandwiches on white bread. It's the white bread part, right? Lisa says 3. Wow. Okay. Okay. William
Wow,
says
we got a
14.
good spread here.
Wow. Very good spread. Speaking of spreads, what's your favorite sandwich, Jackie? While I think of myself.
Okay, so I am, since the pandemic, I have to put mostly at the beginning instead of just fully vegan. But because I'm vegan, I tend to like hummus-based sandwiches.
Ooh. That's
Or
nice.
my friend Helen actually manages to make a tofu chicken salad that is really, really good. Because I would think, that sounds awful, but hers are awesome because they're like curried and they have raisins in them. And she bakes the tofu in a way that it has just the right amount of chew, and it actually feels a lot like chicken salad, and kind of tastes like it, but in a sort of neutral. It's got this mild curry kind of thing way, and that is really good for sandwiches.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
But I am not a great cook.
Chat, what are your favorite sandwiches? So we have like 3 all the way to 14. Sandwiches, I think, are pretty healthy because if you have like your lettuces and tomatoes, you have your greens and you have your meats. The white bread makes it unhealthy though. So I'm gonna go with an 8. That it's slightly less healthy, although it's very yummy, I have to say. But like my favorite sandwiches like are the ones from like Game House where they do the salty sweet. It was an 8, y'all. Hey, Karen, you also got an 8. James, you
And
got
James
8. Oh
did.
my gosh, we You got this. Dang.
Kirk gets, so you each would get 4 points and Kirk would get 2. And nobody else scored. And nobody beat Amanda on that one.
Yes. Yeah.
So, did anybody actually keep their track of their score
I have no idea.
over the whole game? Anyone?
I
Anyone?
have no idea.
Probably not.
Yeah. Oh, tuna salad on a sesame bagel. That sounds yummy. I mean, like Game House did like a turkey on a raw. You can. I like their turkey sandwich on rye, but they do a fig jam inside, which makes it so like salty sweet. Or they do a tuna fish sandwich on wheat where they add apple chunks and then they do jalapeno, but I asked them to replace that with sriracha, so it's like a sweet spicy sandwich. I really really like it. William says sandwich is the perfect food. You got your meat, you got your veggies, you got your bread. I unfortunately leave the veggies out. Jackie completely only has veggies, so. Falllight got 10 points at the end. So good job, Falllight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let us not forget that the sandwich was invented so that the Earl of Sandwich didn't have to leave his poker table in order to have food. So sandwiches were made for gaming.
Yep, exactly.
So we like them for that.
Yes. Ooh, lox and cream cheese with onions and capers. Ooh. Mark
okay,
says,
maybe we don't like that at the game table. That sounds like something you don't want on your game.
It's like you don't want, and plus like your breath would be like crazy.
I mean, you're sitting on the other side of the table. For sure.
Mark says I scored a 16. Good job. Karen got 9 points. Awesome. Yeah, Kirk didn't keep his score. I didn't keep my score. It's all good, y'all. It's all good.
It's totally all good.
I feel like this really is like a fun game versus like, I mean, an activity versus the game. Although they do have like scoring options, so yeah.
They do, but there are lots of party games that have a way to keep score. But if you're having fun playing them, you just end up not keeping score and doing it for fun. I mean,
Yeah.
Just One is another one that's like that.
Yeah.
It's yeah. There are so many great party games, and it's just I'm always amazed at the variety of things you can play with a group of people, and have them be different enough that they warrant being a separate game.
Yeah.
And Wavelength is just a super fun one to play to get into a discussion about what is and isn't some of these things.
Agreed.
And just being surprised at how other people end up answering.
Yep. I know, and you get to really know people. It's quite fun. And you're just it's one of the party games that you don't need to know other people. You will get to know them by the end of the game. So it's a great icebreaker game. While some party games, it's like I have to know. Like people who know each other have an advantage versus like people who don't. So I really like this game too. It's quite fun, but it's hard on the clue giver. I'm telling you, it's hard to give clues in this game.
It's very hard because you can think of things that peg on either side, but then you get something that is somewhere in the middle and not exactly in the middle, and you're like, oh, how do I get people to do that, and what is in the middle? And like what do you do when someone is both a good influence and a bad influence at the same time?
Just call them Jackie.
Which do you pick? Do you just split the difference and get them really pissed off at you forever? No, you put them in a good team. And that is fine, because like I said, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that's 20 on a role model.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining us. This has been so much fun. Jackie, any last things?
Nope. Just if you have great kitten names that you think of, DM them over to me in the next 24 hours or so, because those cats are going to get named soon.
Yes.
And if you have, even $5, $10 to add to my Purple Stride team, which is the team for, again, it's Nikki Trebek's team, Alex Trebek's daughter, and today is Purple Stride Day. Pancreatic cancer has touched so many people's lives. So anything that you can donate, even if it's just $5, is $5 they didn't have earlier this morning. So that would
Yep.
be great.
Yep.
And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend. Thank you so much for being here with us. I love doing this stuff with you, and we'll try to schedule another one in a few months.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Please stay safe and enjoy. Bye, everyone.